I enjoy it, but it wasn't anything too different. I mean, we do it every day in practice, so I was pretty used to it. But it was fun doing it in front of all the fans and in the stadium.
Can you kind of describe your mindset as the ball's in the air floating down to you, and all the guys are running at you in the stadium?
I mean, you just got to concentrate on the ball. That's the most important thing, really. That's one reason why I'm back there. I think they trust me to secure it, but I trust our punt return team to give me some time, so I'm not too worried about it.
Justin, just overall, now that you had a chance to kind of go back and review, what did you think about the offensive performance? You might even want to separate it by half, but how did you feel like you guys did overall?
I thought from game 1 to game 2 we progressed pretty well. We did some good things in game 1, but I think game 2 we really said we need to step up and take control of the game, and the second half we really responded. So I think we progressed well from game 1 to game 2.
Justin, just going on the road, and the obvious question, obviously, the adversity you'll face from the fans of the road. Just how do you prepare for that this week, and what do you guys do differently this week, maybe that you haven't done already this season?
I mean, I think we've done a good job pumping in crowd noise here and there, just to get the aspect of what a loud fan base is going to be like. So I think we'll get a lot more of that this week. We're really just going to have to focus on what we can control and what we can do.
You've been around enough. We've been to other stadiums in this conference, and you had a game down in Arkansas a couple of years ago where you kind of faced similar circumstances with the crowd. Do you anticipate, I mean, there's a lot of hype about what that's like out there. Do you think it's going to be the same as other places you played at, or do you think it's going to be different?
I mean, it's an away crowd, so it's going to be loud, it's going to be hostile. I don't know how much different it gets from one venue to another, but I mean, we can just prepare for it by the crowd noise during practice and things like that.
Jacob, when you think of Oregon, what kind of pops in your mind?
I mean, I'm sure it's the same for everybody, just their tempo and speed and their athleticism.
One thing that gets overlooked is their defense. What do you see from them defensively when you're watching film?
I mean, I think their defense is kind of great because their offense is very good. They're fast and they're athletic, and probably practicing against their offense, they're used to fast teams. So they'll be used to the tempo and just their athleticism. I think they're a smart defense.
Justin, based on Saturday's game, there's a sense that you guys adjust better at halftime, perhaps, this year than you have in the past. What is it like in the locker room at halftime? How frenetic or frantic is it with the coaches as far as making those adjustments? And do you see the same thing we're seeing, that there's definitely a difference in how you guys adjust at halftime?
I wouldn't say it's frantic at all. A lot of it is sit down, relax, catch a breath. The first halves, the past 2 games have been kind of hectic. And then the coaches will come in and we'll basically make a second game plan based on what we've been seeing from our point, the defensive standpoint. So it's really relax, get your mind right for a second half of football.
Is the second half game plan different this year? Is that something that you typically have always done, or is it a little more defined this year, do you think?
We've always done it in the past. I think there have been times where we've gotten away from it, but we've really said we're going to stick to this game plan, the second half game plan, and gone with that.
Justin, how important is it that you guys control tempo Saturday, whether it's a fast pace or whether you grind it out a little bit more like you did in the second half this past week?
I think just being able to keep the ball and maintain possession, put some drives together and things like that, that's really going to help our defense. And so we really got to focus on staying on the field as an offense, whether it's a fast-paced tempo or whether we grind it out a little bit.
Well, Coach has said that this game could come down to special teams. Just talk about your role in that, and specifically maybe from punting to keeping them pinned down, if that's possible, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have multiple roles. Like you said, punting, change of field position, that's going to be the biggest thing. But, we know the offense is going to put us in great field position. So hopefully more kicking than punting. But I know from my standpoint, punting, I got to switch the field. I got to pin them deep if the opportunity presents itself. And kicking, I got to capitalize on drives, on the offensive drives. If we're in field goal range, I got to capitalize. I got to put points on the board. That's my job, so that's going to be a pretty important part of the game.
Michael, adding the punting to your other duties, you seem more confident. Are you more involved in the game? Is it the coaching staff maybe instilling more confidence? What's going on?
I think it's a combination of everything. I always said that the more that I'm out in the field, the more comfortable I am in every situation that I'm put in. And I think that the coaching staff has put me in a position to where I have a lot of that confidence going out in the field, whether it's in practice or kicking game-winning field goals, kind of simulated game-winning field goals, backed up punts, just kind of putting me in those game situations. I think the coaching staff has done a really good job at helping me kind of go out into the game and feel a little bit more comfortable with what I'm supposed to do.
Michael, if you take away that one play, do you feel like special teams has been pretty solid in these first 2 games, and what happened on that one block punt?
I think that we've done a pretty solid job. I think that there's still room for improvement, like in every other position in every other phase of the game. On the blocked punt, I kind of watched a little bit of film on it. We still got to meet today and talk about it. I don't know if it was a combination of get off time or someone just kind of slipping through the shield on the punt. But we'll fix that in practice and make sure that doesn't happen for the rest of the season. But like I said, there's more improvement that needs to go on throughout the course of the year and throughout practices.
Justin, you played a little bit last year. You've got 2 games under your belt this year. How much do you feel the timing that's so critical in a lot of your pass routes with your receivers, how much do you feel that has improved, and where does that go from?
From last year to this year, we've had a lot of change in who's out there at receiver for us, but I think it has progressed well from the spring into fall camp and now into the season. It's always a work in progress based on some routes we put in here and there, but I think overall it's progressed well, and I've got faith in the guys out wide.
Justin, one of the old football cliches is you get to make your most improvement between week 1 and week 2. Where did you see that with yourself and in your offense as far as making strides?
I think just responding to adversity. Week 1, we put together several drives. We went 6 for 6 in the first half. We didn't really have any stops or any 3 and outs and things like that we had to respond to, or them putting up points against us and having to respond to that. So I think being able to respond to different situations that came up in the game Saturday, being able to learn from that and respond like we did, especially in the second half, coming out and putting some drives together, I think that's how we improved.
And you talk about being able to respond. How much pressure is there in that regard this week, and how do you keep yourself from getting caught up feeling like we've got to score 50, we've got to score 60?
We can only control what we can control on the offensive side, so we just got to go out and maintain our focus and worry about what we can control, and not get caught up in saying we need to score 50 this game. We need to go out and score this drive. That's it.
Mike, I think one of your first games was at LSU in 2010. You played pretty well. I think that was your debut. How much do you talk to the other guys that you've been in a number of different road environments this week, and what kind of advice can you give them?
I know, since 2010, I've played in a lot of stadiums. Like you said, LSU, Alabama, a lot of loud stadiums. But my game is a little bit different, I think, than everybody else's game. It's more centralized to myself and worrying about just specifically my job. But I think the advice that I can give them is, when you're out in the field, is just make sure that you're worried about your job, not the noise and the screaming and the yelling and the other team. Just do your job, kind of execute the way that you've been doing in practice. And I know that's the biggest thing for me, is because most of my game is mental. So if I'm not there mentally, my game isn't really going to be the way that I want it to. So I think that's just the biggest thing that I can say is just stay honed in on your job alone and not worrying about all the other clutter and noise that is surrounding us.
Jacob, a lot of guys love to play away from home. Love that environment.
I'm the same way. I don't know what it is. I know I was talking to Juwan about it. He loves it too. I like away games a lot. I mean, home games here are great. But away games, it's something different. It's just a different feel, and you're kind of in your own little world, I guess, just you and your crew, your team you're with. So we get a little tighter, I guess, at away games. And I guess that's part of it. We enjoy it.
Is it easier to focus maybe when you're away from your friends and your family for a couple of days?
I think so. I mean, there's a lot of less distractions for sure. And being that far away from home, there'll be a lot of less distractions, a lot of less local distractions. So that's probably part of it for some people, yes, sir.
Justin, going back to the Western Kentucky game, when Marquez North had that catch that didn't know if he had caught it or not, did you know immediately that he had caught the ball? And just it ending up as the number 3 play on Sports Center, what did you think?
Yeah, I was on the ground when he called it. So I heard the crowd and they responded, and the refs kind of looking around, confused a little bit. But I guess they reviewed it and it was called, and then it showed up on Sports Center the next day. So I mean, that's good to see.
Anything else? Do some one-on-ones on the side here. And this is all we're going to have